So today I want to talk about manifesting appearance change. And I think what makes this sometimes so difficult for people is because we obviously live in the 3D world. Duh. But it's the fact that it appears to be this concrete, this unmalleable, unchangeable reality, right? And so we're so patterned and programmed by looking at reality in this way, by looking at the world this way, right? That we only kind of operate on the basis of what we can see, right? What's physically observed, right? And that's what's fact. And everything else is just kind of just disregarded as imaginary or fantasy, right? Logically, I want to say it makes sense. Before you get into this work, it does make sense, right? Because we observe something, and that causes us because of that observation, that causes us to act, right? And based off our lived experiences and our assumptions, we kind of just over time come to this identity and this conclusion that, oh, this is just how life must be for me, right? I must be unlovable. I must be broken. I must not be chosen, right? Because of what I've experienced. It's this very Newtonian model of looking at the world, but it's how most people are creating. It's how most people are living their life, and they're just not aware of it. And I think when it comes to, manifesting something like an appearance change or even a change within your body, we're so used to using our reactive senses, our physical senses, right? To judge what's right and what's wrong, to judge what's working from what's failing. And we use that as the gauge. I always say to this, and I want to come back to this, because if you can just accept the truth of who you are, and I don't just mean you're human, I don't just mean your character, but if you can accept that you are a spiritual divine essence, right? You're a spiritual being having a human experience, but you are also the thing, the energy that makes up existence itself. And at the foundation of who you are, right, is love, is expression, is joy, is expansion, right? And so when you start to remember that, but also start to, look at the world and operate in the world from that assumption, it's going to change a lot. Right. And it's going to actually allow you to reclaim authority of your life, to reclaim the authorship of your life, because this is something that I actually, made a decision. I made an intention this year that I was going to reclaim the story I held around my body and my health, right? And that's very 3D focused, right? That those types of manifestations are very outer focused, right? And so for the longest time, like I was still judging what was working from what I could see. From where I was last year, just was not feeling good about myself, right? Really wasn't applying and stepping into the version of myself and identifying as a version of myself that prioritized my health, right? And that actually showed up for myself, not just in the gym, but also what I was putting in my body, right? And so that's why for the longest time, like I would kind of, even as a teenager, I would kind of go through periods where I would really get into fitness and then it would kind of crumble. And, looking back though, I feel like I was in a way like putting this huge band-aid over my life, right? Like I would conjure up this huge plan and this just start doing all these things, get new shoes and get new clothes because I was joining the gym. But then everything would start to crumble, right? Because I would feel this internal friction within me, right? And I would just stop going. Everything would backfire, right? And I feel like this happens a lot. And why does this happen, right? Why do so many people kind of yo-yo diet, right? And it's because at the basis of everything, it's your identity that's foundational. But I think what makes this journey so different from all my other fitness journeys is that I decided to stop trying to be the version of me that was trying to get fit and to work out, and to just naturally be someone who was already healthy, was already fit, was already shredded, already had my dream body, right? And I loved working out. I loved going to the gym, right? It wasn't about forcing results. It wasn't about efforting. It wasn't about, taking all this action. I would do those things, but in taking the action, in taking the inspired action, whatever you want to call it, like I was actually enjoying the process. I feel like I'm way more consistent now. I do it from a place of joy. I do it from a place of expectancy that I know that this is working out. I know that I'm getting healthier day by day, right? I'm just enjoying the unfolding, right? The expansion that's leading me to my desire. And so I feel like when you can get to a place of natural expression, you're in a place of flow, you're in a place of expression. That's when the change happens, right? That's where you just end up at your end. You end up with your dream body, or you end up dropping to your goal weight, right? But you do all of that just as a byproduct of you following your highest expression, right? Of you following that joy. And I think that's what we're really all craving anyway. Yes, like we want the manifestation of the body or the appearance change, whatever it is, but it's that inner sense of fulfillment and satisfaction and completion, right? And perfection, right? That we feel like the manifestation is going to give us. But truly, all of that exists within you, right? And God is just literally waiting for you to select that experience. God is trying to express itself through your desire, right? And when you start to understand that, you can relax in the unfolding. And I think that's just the reminder here is just to stop allowing the 3D to manifest for you, right? Gently come back to who you are, the true nature of your being, and remind yourself that any change is possible, right? But it always happens within consciousness first, right? You eventually become so sure of who you are that even if you don't see the evidence with your senses, right, it literally forces reality to change, to rearrange itself, right, to match what you have accepted within consciousness. Because the real shift isn't something you force, you guys, right? It's something that you keep deciding. It's something you keep remembering over and over again until it becomes the way that you naturally experience life. This is the work exactly I've done for myself, but I've also helped other people with that has allowed me to manifest, releasing 20 pounds off my body. That's how I did it. I share my own wisdom and personal experience, not to convince you of anything, but to just support you in staying connected to that higher perspective of yourself and to tapping into that larger universal energy that we all are. And I just want to take a quick second, as always, to extend so much gratitude, so much appreciation for you guys. As always, my goal is to uplift, to uplevel the consciousness of humanity and help others wake up to the truth and to the power of who they really are. And so if you got value from today's video, all I ask and all I encourage you to do is to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone you believe it could help. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.